Welcome to Red V TV, supported by Chapel House Cars for the 2025 season, as we continue our build-up to the new Super League campaign, which is officially 1 week away. And Kev, we all know that in a week there is 7 days, and it can only mean one thing.
I thought you were going to break into Craig David. It actually means it's our number seven. It's Jonny Lomax, and Jonny is sponsored by LPL Building Services.
LPL Building Services based in Oral. I'd love to tell you more, but I can't find a website which proves they must be very successful and do not need to advertise their services. If you want to get in
Can't
touch,
click
we'll
on
give you a
anything
plug, but
on
that's as
the.
much as I can do because apart from finding your own company's house and knowing who owns the company, I can't tell you anything else.
Oh dear.
We did try.
Yeah,
Is it fair?
yeah.
Sorry.
It says construction.co.uk electrical contractors. Yeah, sorry, that's all we've got. Oops.
Right, Johnny then. 350 appearances in the Red V. Signed a new 3-year deal. This is him going into year two. Was there a drop off in his on-field performance in 2024, Kevin? There's a loaded question,
I
isn't it?
don't think it was his greatest year. It is. I don't think it was his greatest year. Um, but I think when you look at everything around him as well, is that necessarily just the fault of an individual player? Whether you ask me that question about Jonny Lomax, whether you asking me about Alex Walmsley, whether you asking me about Joe Batchelor, anyone like that. Um, I think with Jonny, I think because he feels that, or it seems to me, he can correct me next time he sees me on this. It
And I'm
seems to me
sure
that
he will.
the role of captain, yeah, absolutely. But the role of captain is an added pressure for him. He's following James Roby, who obviously came off the back of winning four in a row, and then obviously the last game for James didn't turn out as well as he'd wanted to. Um, but following that, it may well just be that heavy burden lying on his shoulders, and he feels like he's got to be the central focal point and the pivot for everything. And as probably the elder statesman in the backs as well, he feels that pressure as well. I'd like to see him relieve himself of that pressure. And I'm not saying step down as captain, but just not. You don't have to do everything. Let other people organise. Let other people do things, and just look like you're enjoying your game a little bit more. Because when we walked out of Saints a couple of months ago after the Warrington game, and he said, oh, "We were so close, weren't we? If we'd have had another couple of weeks, we'd have been more confident. We just needed another couple of weeks, that team being together, and we'd have been. We think we'd have got over the line." But I just think that maybe he just needs to take a little bit of pressure off himself. Um, because, I mean, again, you don't like talking about players when they're coming to the end of the career, but he is getting a bit older. You can't do everything that you used to do 10 years ago.
No. And
So be organisational, but don't feel like you've got to do everything.
yeah, I listen, I asked the question, so I'll give you my thoughts on it. I think you're right in terms of the supporting cast didn't help last season. The amount of upheaval in the backs, I don't think he got helped in the halves at all by his halfback partner, whoever that was at the time in each game. And obviously, Johnny's never relied on his pace anyway,
Yeah,
but he has slowed down a little, and some things that used to work in the past, like the step that he used to do, don't necessarily take him past the man anymore. But I wonder whether you're right in terms of that pressure. He's obviously took over the captaincy coming off the back of basically the club's greatest ever period. And it's almost like he's took the mantle at the wrong time. Like David Moyes taking the job at Man United after Alex Ferguson when the team was on a downward hill and you almost feel Johnny's took that personally on himself, feeling like he's got to try and make everything right on his own. And he's such a thinker. I know he'll not be happy with how the team performed last season, but you're right. The pressure needs to be shared and the workload needs to be shared across the team. And I think this season we'll be in a much better position to do that. We have strengthened in the backs. We've got more mature, um, like the likes of Jack Wellsby, maturity wise coming on, who'll turn into leaders in this team as well. Um, so you hope that Johnny can play a lot more freely this year, especially with Tristan Saylor alongside
Yeah,
him,
I
who's got the
think
pace.
yeah, I think that's a key thing because we've recruited the likes of Tristan Sailor. You've got to allow Tristan Sailor to play. You've got to be able um, to trust your halfback partner, and that's why we've recruited. And whether there was the issue last year that there were so many different halfback partners that Johnny thought, well, I'm the senior man here. I'm going to try and make sure everything happens. Just take the pressure off, Johnny. Yeah, everybody knows how much I love Jonny Lomax, but he's just got to take the pressure off himself. And we've got young players now chomping at the bit who want a game. Like we've mentioned in over the past couple of days, with like the likes of George Whitby getting a new deal, Harry Robertson getting a new deal. That these players they're gonna want to play, but they're not going to play every game. So hopefully we can see the best of Johnny by not flogging him every week.
Yeah,
We don't need to. Doesn't need to happen. You've got to protect these players. We've given them a contract, and whether people think that the length of the contract was right or wrong, it's just he's got that contract now. There's nothing much you can do about that.
I think
So why not try
he'll nurture
prolong
George
and
Whitby as well.
yes, yeah, and keep him, but keep Johnny fresh. So we're not putting him in, week out against teams that he doesn't have to be involved against.
100%. I think Johnny will bounce back this year and will have a much better year than 2024. I don't think his
I
story's
genuinely
quite finished.
Yeah, I genuinely hope so. I really hope he does. I hope he gets the chance to lift some silverware as captain of the club. I think he deserves that. But I'd just like to see him, I don't know, relax a little bit. I know it's really easy for me to say, but just relax a little bit. Let others take their share of the burden of the work.
Yeah. Okay. Right, we'll be back tomorrow. We're on the homeward straight now, and hopefully Kev might get his voice back at some point. Probably not by tomorrow's episode because we're going to film it in 2 minutes' time. Catch you soon.